For NJ Advance Media, I'm Connor Hughes. Well, the 0-16 win list talk that has surrounded the Jets for the better part of the last 3 or 4 months can finally be put to sleep. On Sunday, they got their first victory of the season when they defeated the Miami Dolphins by the score of 20-6. The Dolphins looked dreadful. The Jets took advantage of that and pulled out a victory. Now, in the grand scheme of things, this may not be exactly what people want. You know, a lot of people do want the Jets to lose as many games as possible because it will increase the likelihood of landing Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen in the 2018 NFL Draft. But when you look at this game for the Jets, there is an awful lot of good to take out of it. And I'm not just talking about the victory. This is victory aside. The Jets, even with this win, are still a rebuilding team. They still have their eye towards the future. They are still building this thing from the ground up, and really they're looking for more progress than wins and losses, as owner Christopher Johnson said earlier this week. But, you know, I think when you look at this, you see the progression that you hope to from a lot of players that you're hoping to see progression from. Jamal Adams, for example, looks like the real deal for the Jets. I mean, he was absolutely tremendous on Sunday. I know that he had a little bit of an issue there with the taunting penalty, which ended up giving the Dolphins a free first down late in the game. But aside from that, he's doing things that you simply can't coach. The series there in the second half, or in the second quarter, I'm sorry, where he made a beautiful pass breakup on a long Jay Cutler pass, came back on the very next play with a sack. I mean, there's not too many safeties in the NFL that can do those kinds of things when you talk about an all-around player. And again, he wasn't the only one that flashed those signs of promise. You had Ardarius Stewart with a beautiful 23-yard catch in the first half. You had Eli McGuire with several impressive runs, again, taking away that fumble. You had Darren Lee, the Jets' first-round pick 2 years ago, who looked like he took a step forward. You had Leonard Williams, who put pressure on the quarterback and got back to some of his dominant ways. You've got Dylan Donahue, another guy who ended up with a sack. You've got guys that the Jets have invested draft picks in these last 2 years, starting to make an impact, starting to get better. You're starting to see them do things that they weren't doing earlier, and that's progress. And that is really what this entire Jets season is about. So, you know, was it good for this team to get a win? Yeah, probably for their psyches. It's good to be 1-2 as opposed to 0-3. But more importantly, for Mike McCagnon, for Todd Bowles, for Christopher Johnson, this is a Jets team that looks like they're starting to get it. And it looks like they've got some young players that they can potentially build around when they start to turn this team completely around. For NJ Advance Media, I'm Connor Hughes.